Guys, who ate all my powdered donuts? Y'all better fess up right now.
Guys, you better fess up right now, okay? He's obviously not playing. So you better, I want to know who, right now.
Keltec KSG or Benelli M4. Today we're going to talk about which one's best for your security needs.
Dan, we don't got the budget for the Benelli. You're just gonna have to talk about the KSG.
The M4 and the... All right, fine. I guess we'll just do just the Keltec. We're going to talk about the reasons why I think this is the best shotgun for the security industry. There are a ton of shotguns on the market, and it's hard to pick. Everything from the Benelli M4 to the Mossberg 500, the Maverick 88, and everything in between. There are so many shotguns, and I think this beats all of them, and we're gonna show you why. I have a Benelli M4 today, but KSGs are pretty cool, and honestly, the budget that stops us from having an M4 to show you guys today is the same budget that would probably stop most of us from using Benelli M4s for work. So. We are going to talk about the Keltec KSG today. They do come out of Cocoa, Florida. They are American made and dual tube, single barrel. So you got 2 magazine tubes, 1 barrel. And for the purposes of this video, we're also going to go ahead and show the chamber and magazine tubes clear at this time. Before we get into why I think this is the best shotgun for security professionals, I'm going to go over like a 30-second operations on how this gun works. We do have a cross bolt safety right there. So big white S for safe. Big red F for fire. The trigger is pretty self-explanatory. We do have a pump action gun. The action bar releases in front of that trigger, very ergonomic, very ambidextrous. And those tubes load from the rear, and there is also a tube selector, and this is gonna be important for why I think this is a good shotgun for what we do. And I'll come back to that here in a little bit, okay? At the KSG, the way it comes out of the box, there is no aftermarket anything on this gun so far. This is the sling that comes with the gun. This is the gun that comes with the gun. The only other things that come with the gun are 2 Keltec stickers and a little chamber safety flag. Other than that, this is exactly how it comes.
And the instruction manual.
And the instruction manual, yeah. Point is ammo capacity. I don't particularly like the idea of our guards putting shotgun shells in their molly loops. I think this looks unprofessional. It's not super secure. These things can fall out. And then now we just have a shotgun shell laying around on property somewhere. So the idea that the KSG holds so many shotgun shells that we don't actually need a reload is a plus in my book. With 2 3/4 inch shells, the KSG holds 7 in each tube, plus 1 in the chamber for a total of 15 shotgun shells. The Benelli M4, for example, which is a legitimate combat shotgun, you hold 8 plus 1, and you can theoretically ghost load 1 if you've got some administrative time in between engagements, for a total of 9 shotgun shells in the Benelli M4. Right along with ammo, and going back to that tube selector switch that I was talking about earlier, the KSG has 2 magazine tubes, which makes slug select and buckshot select type drills very easy. 1 tube of buckshot, 1 tube of slug. The idea that you can have slugs in 1 tube and buckshot in the other makes it very easy for us to comply with DPS for curriculum, which requires us to be able to select slugs. Benelli M4 or any other pump or semi-auto shotgun on the market, you would have to eject the shotgun shell that's currently in the chamber, dump one off the load tray, and then chamber load that slug. So the ability to quickly switch tubes and pump a new round into the chamber is much faster and much more efficient than the traditional slug select drill. The KSG has a 18.5 inch barrel and an overall size of about 25 inches. That's dependent on if you have a limb saver or a muzzle device on the gun, but for the most part, this gun comes in at roughly the same size as a Mark 18 with a full-length shotgun barrel. Other shotguns with full-length barrels that are not bullpup shotguns are much, much bigger and longer and harder to use when you're inside a building or inside a vehicle or getting in and out of your vehicle with your shotgun. Talk about lowest common denominator real fast. Lowest common denominator is when you have a trainee who is on his worst day and with the least amount of experience. Worst case scenario, this guy's never seen a shotgun before and he hasn't slept for a whole day because he was working the day before. How do I train him to do specialized techniques like slug select drills on modern shotguns? Super easy, I do the training. It's even easier on the KSG where all I have to do is have him slide his selector switch and pump that round into the chamber. Now he has a slug select drill done. Two of the downsides of the KSG real fast before we get into the final good points about this gun. Two things that I am less than happy about with the KSG. First thing is the recoil on this gun is insane. It kicks like a mule. There's no way around it. Even with a limb saver and a muzzle device, this gun still kicks way harder than any other shotgun that I've shot. The second point is that muzzle and that pump are in pretty close proximity. I know it's been known to happen where a guy will put his hand in front of that muzzle while closing the action and accidentally blow his hand off. These two issues can be mitigated with tactics, techniques, and in this case, equipment. The KSG comes standard with the ability to fire and feed and load mini shells without any adapters. That also increases your magazine capacity from 7 to about 10, depending on which mini shells you're using. The second point with being able to blow your hand off, there's Picatinny on the bottom of that pump. Being able to do a vertical grip or a hand stop or anything along those lines can mitigate that risk. It doesn't totally get rid of that risk, and that's why training is important, but it definitely can help. 2 points are, oh, there you are. The final 2 points are ambidextrous and price. This gun is from the factory ambidextrous. It does not matter if your employee or you as a security guard, whoever you are for home defense, it doesn't matter if you're left-handed or right-handed, this gun is functional for you out of the box. Price point. Price point on the KSG kind of varies depending on supply and demand, but right now it's sitting at about $700 depending on where you're buying it. Palmetto State Armory sometimes runs deals where you can get them for $650, and sometimes they're a little bit more expensive than that, or even cheaper if you're buying a used shotgun. This is a good price compared to Benelli M4s sitting at $1,500 to $1,600, or Mossberg 500s even sitting at the $550 to $600 mark. So for an extra $100 over a Mossberg 500, you are gaining a lot in capability and modularity and everything else that comes with this shotgun.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. As always, go out there, get some training on whatever shotgun you're running, and like and subscribe. Stay safe, guys. If anything else, John Wick uses the KSG.